Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste. We're going to begin the discussion of the enmity between Vashishta and Vishvamitra. On page 141. After Harishchandra was freed from the dreadful curse of disease and reunited with his son Rohitashva, he lived and ruled in Ayodhya along with his wife Saidya, literally she who manifests Shiva, and their son. Yud means war and all means without. And Ayodhya is the place without war, the land of eternal peace. Harishchandra, along with Saidya and their son Rohitashva, saw the kingdom of Ayodhya grow in fame and prosperity. Health and wealth and welfare were enjoyed by all the citizens, and in every way it was the ideal community governed by an ideal king. Did you ever notice that even among spiritual seekers, there is a hierarchy of attainment? Just as in a church there is a deacon and a pastor and a minister, and above them is a bishop and a cardinal and the pope. So also amongst the seers of the Sanatan Dharma, there is a designation of sadhus, sants, swamis, mahatmas, and rishis. And these meanings have become blurred over time because people have taken titles of their own accord, but even the title rishi included many degrees. Now, ish means to desire, and isha, the object of desire. Ra means again. Ra plus isha equals rishi, and rishi means he who again is the object of desire, the knowledgeable one, who knows how to control desire. Ishu also means to perceive and to rule, so the perceiver of all, ruler of all. He who again rules over all, who again sees all, rishi. And there are rishis, and Maharishis, and Raja Rishis, and Deva Rishis, and Brahma Rishis. A Rishi is a seer, a wise being, and a Maharishi is a great seer among seers. A Raja Rishi is a great seer amongst kings, and a Deva Rishi, like Narad Muni, is a great seer among the gods. He can transfer his physical body or transcend the physical plane and move between the Devaloka, the realm of the gods, and human consciousness at will. And the Brahma Rishi is a knower in the fullest essence of the wisdom of Brahman, the wisdom of non-duality, that I am the supreme divinity. One day, Vishvamitra went to visit Vasishta, and he saw that Vasishta was adorned with great honor and respect. And Vishvamitra asked him, Vasishta, from where did you receive such a tribute of honor? Where did you get all this wealth and all of these tokens of esteem? Vasishta replied, from my disciple, Harishchandra. Vishvamitra asked incredulously, your disciple Harishchandra has provided his guru with such wealth? Vasishta replied, yes, that is the honor that he has shown to a Brahma Rishi, the knower of the oneness of Brahman. Vishvamitra said, Vasishta, have I not also attained to the status of a Brahma Rishi? By the tapasya of my willpower, I brought the Gayatri mantra for the upliftment of all humanity. Through the force of my tapasya, I sent Satyabrat to the heavens. Through the application of my wisdom, I initiated Srunashepa in the Purana mantra and thereby saved his life. I also freed Harishchandra from the curse of Purana. Certainly, I too am a Brahma Rishi. Vashishta said, "No, Vishvamitra, you are not yet a Brahma Rishi. There is much left for you to understand. It's not quite so simple. You may have become a Raja Rishi by now, but just because you have attained a few siddhis, spiritual powers that you can flaunt in the public eye, that doesn't make you a Brahma Rishi." Vishvamitra was insulted. Ever since he tried to steal Vashishta's cow, he had been striving for equality with Vashishta. He became angry at this insult and said, "I'll show you." Vishvamitra went off to practice even more tapasya. He sat in the stillness of meditation and became completely absorbed in the practice of austerities, and some time passed. The examination of Harishchandra. One day, Indra presided over a great conference in heaven. He summoned all the gods along with the rishis and Maharishis and the Raja Rishis, the Deva Rishis and the Brahma Rishis. Everyone was invited to assemble. When the participants were comfortably seated, Indra said, "I have one major question of philosophical import, and I request all of you to give your opinions." Vasishta rose amidst the assembly and said, "Excuse me, Indra, I don't see Vishvamitra present at this assembly." Indra replied, "Vishvamitra? That king who is still stuck in showing off his egotism? He is filled with the pride of his attainments. Why should there be a place here for him?" Vashishta said, "Yes, but even so, he's striving hard in the path of self-realization. He is trying to become a Brahma Rishi. Therefore, he too should be consulted in this matter of philosophical importance." Indra agreed. "All right, as you suggest, send a messenger to Vishvamitra and tell him that his presence is requested in Indra's heaven." Narad Muni was dispatched as the messenger and proceeded to where Vishvamitra was sitting in samadhi, in the full and complete absorption of his tapasya. Narad said, "Vishvamitra, the gods have assembled at Indra's heaven for a great conference on matters of philosophy. All the rishis, Maharishis, Raja Rishis, Deva Rishis, and Brahma Rishis have assembled along with them. Vasishta suggests that you too should be in attendance." "You mean that Vasishta has recognized me as a Brahma Rishi too?" asked Vishvamitra. "Oh no, that was not his proclamation. He said that you are striving hard to become a Brahma Rishi, and therefore your opinion should be heard as well." Vishvamitra was somewhat disappointed when he replied, "Oh, all right, I'll go with you." They mounted on an aerial car and ascended to the heavens of Indra. Arriving in heaven, they exchanged greetings with all assembled, and then Vishvamitra took his seat next to the Guru Vasishta. When he was comfortably seated, Indra said, "Now, I shall put forth my question. What is the strongest power on earth?" Bayu immediately stood up and responded, "The wind! The wind blows anything away." Agni stood up and said, "Fire! It can burn anything." Yam stood up and said, "Death! No one can escape from death." And so each of the gods took his turn and proclaimed himself to be the most powerful being on earth. Finally, Vasishta stepped forward into the assembly and said, "Fellow divinities, I shall proclaim in truth what is the strongest power on earth. The strongest power on earth is truth." Vishvamitra stood up and said, "What do you mean the strongest power is truth? Look at the earth. Everyone there is a liar, a cheater, and a thief. They will steal for money and lie for money, and there is no one who is devoted to truth." Vasishta replied, "What if there was one man who would sacrifice everything for truth? Who would give up his own self, all his attachments, all his egotism and possessions? Then would you agree that truth is the strongest power on earth?" Vishvamitra asked, "Where is there a man like that?" Vashishta answered, "The king of Ayodhya, Raja Harishchandra." "Ha!" responded Vishvamitra. "Harishchandra? He cheated Purana out of the sacrifice that he had promised. He put him off time and time again with this excuse and that excuse. He made up one story after another story in order to avoid fulfilling his vow. You were only saying that because he gave you so much wealth and honor. Now, even the great Vasishta has sacrificed truth to become a servant of wealth." Vasishta said, "You'll see, Vishvamitra. Harishchandra is endowed with nobility and steadfastness in truth." And Vishvamitra said, "Oh, Vasishta, you must be joking. That king is a liar and will forsake the truth as soon as it becomes convenient. I am willing to bet you all the spiritual merits I have attained from all the pujas that I have performed that you are wrong." Vasishta looked at Vishvamitra. "As you like, Vishvamitra. I have firmness of faith. If you would like to rid yourself of all your spiritual merits, you may do so. I accept your challenge. You may test him any way you like." The assembly concluded with this wager being made, and all the gods went to see what would happen. Vishvamitra came down to the earth, sat in the forest, and began to perform tapasya. One day, Harishchandra went into that forest to hunt. Through his power of mantra, Vishvamitra called Maya and caused it to rain. A tremendous storm ensued, and Harishchandra somehow became separated from his friends and the rest of his hunting party, and he became thoroughly lost. Vishvamitra again called Maya and made the sun to come out. It became very, very hot. Harishchandra began to get thirsty. He became hungry. His clothes were wet and gummy. He was tired and thirsty and hungry and lost in the most dense part of the forest. It was a deplorable situation. He wandered in this circumstance until he came to a little clearing and found the hermitage of Vishvamitra. What a great relief, thought Harishchandra, as he dismounted from his horse and went to pay his respect to the great Rishi. He prostrated himself before the Rishi and said, "Oh, great Rishi, what good fortune it is for me to find you here in this forest. I am thirsty and hungry. I am tired and have lost all of my friends. I am lost as well. I don't even know where is Ayodhya." Vishvamitra replied, "Welcome, O king. I am so pleased that you have come and that I can be of some assistance. Go to that stream over there, wash and change into these dry clothes. I will prepare some food for you, and after you have taken refreshments and rest, I will show you the way back to your home." The king replied, "You are so kind, O great Rishi. You have been so gracious to my ancestors, and what a kindness you are performing for me." And Vishvamitra said, "Think nothing of it." As he was instructed, King Harishchandra went to the stream and washed. He changed his clothes and took a drink of cool, clear, refreshing water. Then he returned to the Muni's hermitage. There he ate delicious food and succumbed to the magic that surrounded him. After taking a rest, he said, Vishvamitra, I am so pleased with your seva, the selfless service which you offer with the greatest of love. I am so grateful for the way that you have saved my life and made me comfortable even in this pathless forest. You have put me in the best possible position, and that is the best sign of friendship, to always think of your friend's advantage. Choose from me some wish. Vishvamitra replied, O king, I am a rishi, a muni living in the forest performing tapasya. I personally need nothing, but you see, I have a daughter who is of marriageable age now, and there is a young man to whom I wish to give this daughter in marriage. But I don't have a dowry. King, could you give me something for a dowry so that I can perform the marriage of my daughter? The king said, Maharishi, I am the king of Ayodhya, the richest man in the country. I have more than ample wealth so that you can give your daughter in marriage. Not only that, but you were so kind to send my father to heaven. You freed Shunashepa from the sacrificial post. You even freed me from the terrible curse of disease given by Lord Purana. Maharishi, anything I can do for you, you have only to ask. I will be honored to give you the dowry for your daughter's marriage. You just tell me the amount. I personally will make sure that the sum is paid. Then Vishvamitra asked, O king, you would never change your mind, would you? And once you have given your word, would you ever make your word become untrue? Harishchandra responded, No, I am Harishchandra, the king of Ayodhya. I have never spoken a lie since the day of my birth. I give you my word. I would never make my word become untrue. I will provide the dowry for your daughter's marriage. Vishvamitra said, King, thank you very much for your most noble offer, but you see, it is almost nighttime. We don't want to return to Ayodhya through the winding paths in the dark of night. We may become lost. Why don't you stay here tonight? Tomorrow morning, after a nice breakfast, I personally will escort you to Ayodhya. There you can put on your kingly dress once again, and then you can give me the dowry that I need. The king said, Vishvamitra, Mahamuni, your hospitality knows no limits. You are the noblest of the Aryan race. It is from your kind behavior, such as yours, that our country has grown and prospered. It is because we have such leaders as yourself amongst the Brahmins. Please consider me to be your humble servant. Vishvamitra prepared a bed for the king, and that night they took rest. They awoke in the morning, and after bathing, they performed their morning prayers. Having completed their worship, they ate breakfast, and then began the journey along the twisted paths that led through the dense forest towards Ayodhya. When they came to the edge of the forest, Harishchandra looked down across the open valleys. There in the distance, he saw his city of Ayodhya, and his heart leapt for joy. Now it was Harishchandra who escorted Vishvamitra, and when they arrived at the gates of the city, the entire population came out to greet their king. Everyone had been so worried because the king had not come home in the night. All the ministers came to greet their returning king, and as a conquering hero, Harishchandra proclaimed to the public that his safety and his well-being were all due to the gracious hospitality of the great Rishi Vishvamitra. He invited Vishvamitra into the palace, washed his feet, and made many presentations to him. Then he took his own bath, changed his clothes, and returning to the great Rishi, he said, "Now, Vishvamitra, please tell me what can I do to please you? Anything you want. I am so pleased with the assistance you have given to me, to my ancestors, and to my kingdom." And Vishvamitra said, "O king, please remember your promise to me of last night. I need a dowry to give for my daughter's marriage. Please provide me for the dowry." The king Harishchandra replied, "O great Rishi, take any amount of dowry that you want, take any amount of wealth that you need. Please fulfill your objective. You have been so gracious and so kind to me and to my family, and have been a benefactor to all the citizens of my country as well as to my ancestors. Just tell me what you want." Vishvamitra said, "O king, please give me the entire kingdom, including all the wealth that you possess." Harishchandra was stunned. Vishvamitra looked at the expression on the king's face and said, "O king, is there something wrong? Is it that you don't want to give me the entire kingdom? Just a few moments ago you spoke so magnanimously. Take what you want, Maharishi. Take whatever you want. O king, if you don't want me to have whatever I want, just say you made a mistake. Just tell me that you are not going to keep your word, and I will give it all right back to you." The king stammered for a moment and said, Oh no, great Rishi. It was just surprising to me. You can have the entire kingdom." "Well then," said Vishvamitra, "please get out of my kingdom." Harishchandra looked around the palace, gazing as though it was his last farewell. His wife Shaitya and his son Rohitashva came and said, "Father, my king, sire, wherever our king goes, we will go with you. Truly, we are a family. We have no desire for kingdom or palace. When the king himself lives outside the city, we will go with you." Harishchandra agreed. And then he said to his ministers, "Ministers, friends, I pray that you protect the kingdom and administrate wisely on behalf of Vishvamitra. I renounce all authority to this kingdom." And Harishchandra turned to walk away. Vishvamitra said, "Stop, king. I thought you gave me everything in the kingdom." The king said, "That is right." Vishvamitra said, "What about those jewels and ornaments you are wearing? How about the jewels your wife is wearing? Are those items also not part of this kingdom? Give me those too." They took off all their ornaments and then started to leave once again. Vishvamitra said, "Stop, king. Did you promise to give me everything, or did you promise to give me only a portion? If you only want to give me a portion, just admit that you don't want to give it all to me and tell me that you are a liar. And then you can have the whole thing back, all of it. But if you want to give me everything, those kingly vestments, all the clothes you are wearing, they are mine. Take them off and put them here. Get these people some beggar's rags," Vishvamitra ordered the ministers. Harishchandra, his wife, and his son took off the fine silks and embroidered satins and kingly vestments and put on the sackcloths of a beggar and once again started to leave. Just as they got to the palace gate, Vishvamitra said, "Stop, king. Do you really want me to have this kingdom and this wealth, or do you not? The king replied, I have already given you everything I own. What more do you want? And Vishvamitra said, I am a Brahmin. When you give a gift to a Brahmin, you must give some dakshina. Where is my dakshina? I sent your father to the heavens. I freed Sunashepa from the pillar. I even freed you from Puruna's curse of disease. Look at all the dakshina you gave to Vashishta, all the wealth and honor that you gave him. Do you expect me to accept a gift without dakshina? Harishchandra said, Rishi, you can see that right now I don't have anything. How can I give you dakshina? That is for you to consider. If you don't want to give me, if you don't want me to have these gifts, then take them all back and tell me you lied. But if you don't want to be a liar, give me my dakshina. But Rishi, I have nothing to give you. Give me some time and I'll give you your dakshina. How much time do you need? Give me 1 month. Okay, 1 month. But I want my dakshina. If you don't give me my dakshina in 1 month, I'm going to curse you. Harishchandra was struck with fear. Who wants to incur the curse of a rishi? Who knows what evil will befall him if the rishi gives his curse? And yet, how can he be untrue to his vow? Perplexed by this situation, Harishchandra set off into the forest accompanied by his wife and child. For several days they wandered in the forest, eating berries from the trees and oftentimes unable to provide any food at all. Ultimately, they came to the city of Benares. Just as they arrived there, Rohitashwa, the little boy, started to cry, Daddy, I'm hungry. Don't we have anything to eat? And Shavya, the wife, said, Oh, what a pity this is. Look at our position now. We have nothing to feed our crying child. The great Harishchandra, the emperor of all of India, the king of Ayodhya, the most noble of all the Aryans, who has never told a lie, has now been reduced to this position. Just then Vishvamitra came. Okay, king, your 30 days are over. The month is finished. Give me my dakshina or I'll curse you. Harishchandra said, Oh, great Rishi, please. The sun is still in the sky. The 30 days are not yet finished. Wait at least until the end of the day. Vishvamitra said, Very well, I will wait until sunset. But if you don't give me my dakshina, then you can either take back all of your wealth and admit that you are a liar, or I'll curse you. Harishchandra turned to his wife Shavya and asked, What shall we do? What shall we do? Shavya, that dharmic wife, replied, O king, the noblest man I have ever met, so firm in your resolve of truth, I bow to you. A king is not allowed to beg. A king is not allowed to do business, and you have no weapons or arms with which to fight. You have only one way to get the money that is needed. What is that, my beloved? Sell me. The king fainted with shock. Sell my wife? What a horrible situation have I been placed in. What a despicable character I must be to even contemplate selling my wife. A man's first duty is to protect his wife. Oh, wife, what a terrible thing you are advising me to do. No, king, there is no other way. Quickly, the time is running out. You must sell me in order to pay the rishi his dakshina. Otherwise, he will curse you. Who knows what difficulties we will have? I know you will come and get me someday and bring me back. Once again, we three will dwell together in Ayodhya. Please don't lose time. Sell me, O king. Harishchandra walked into the marketplace. He began to call, "Hear ye! Hear ye! Who wants to buy this fine dharmic woman? She is endowed with all qualifications. She can cook, she can clean, she can sew. She can do all the works of the household. Who among you good citizens can take compassion on this poor sinner of a man who has been reduced to such a deplorable situation? Help me, take pity on me, buy my wife." Just then one Brahmin came and said, "What kind of a man are you that would want to sell your wife? What kind of dharma is this? You look like a noble man, a strong man, like you could do a good day's work. What kind of a man are you that you are going to sell your wife? All right, how much do you want for her? Let me see her teeth." "Well, according to our customs, a woman like this will bring a price of 10 baskets of gold. Here, take your money and give me the woman." He handed the money to the king. Harishchandra took the money while the Brahmin started dragging his wife away. Just then Vishvamitra appeared and demanded, "Give me my money. Are you going to pay me my dakshina or not?" Harishchandra said, "Vishvamitra, here are 10 baskets of gold." 10 baskets of gold? Do you think that is enough for me? Was that some little tiny sacrifice I performed when I sent your fathers to the heavens? Was it a little sacrifice I performed when I freed Shuna Shepherd from the sacrificial pillar? Was it just a little sacrifice I performed when I freed you from Puruna's curse of disease? I'll take these 10 baskets of gold, but bring me more. I am not satisfied with this. Wait, Vishvamitra, don't curse me now. The sun hasn't sunk to the horizon yet. There is still time. Then his young boy Rohitashva started crying, "Mommy, Mommy, where are they taking you? Where is my mommy going? Am I going to be without a mommy?" The wife Shaivya, the queen of Ayodhya, said pitifully, "O Brahman, please be compassionate and purchase my son as well so he can come with me. He can work. He will bring you materials for all your sacrifices. He will pick the flowers for your worship. He will cut wood from the forest. He will do the laundry. Together we will work for you. Please, Brahman, don't separate a mother from her child." The Brahman compassionately agreed. "Okay. According to our customs, a boy like this, about this age, let me see his teeth. Yes, they're good. Okay, you get another 10 baskets of gold. Here, take your 10 baskets of gold and give me the child." Harishchandra took the 10 baskets of gold and the Brahman took the boy. He started to drag the two of them, mother and child, off towards his home. And the noble Shaivya said, "I part with you, my king, with one prayer. Lifetime after lifetime I will come again and be the handmaiden of the great and noble King Harishchandra. Never was there a king so noble or a man so firm in the principles of truth." "Come on, lady," said the Brahmin while he pulled on the rope, dragging off the wife and child. "Give me my dakshina," commanded Vishvamitra. "Here, O Maharishi, here is another 10 baskets of gold. Please be satisfied." 10 baskets of gold? Was that a little sacrifice I performed? Look at the honor and wealth you gave to Vashishta for performing the Rajasuya sacrifice. And you were only giving to me these silly, measly 10 baskets of gold? I sent your father to the heavens. I freed Shuna Shepherd from the sacrificial pillar. I freed you from Puruna's curse. Give me more. or take back everything you have already given and confess that you told a lie, or I'll curse you right now. Harishchandra said, "Oh Maharishi, please wait. Wait a few minutes more. The sun hasn't set as yet. There is still time." Vishvamitra asked, "What else do you have left to sell?" And Harishchandra replied, "Me." He began to call, "Does anyone want to buy this worker? I am selling myself into slavery. Circumstances put me in this position. Will anyone purchase me?" Just then, the king of the Chandalas, and the outcasts who work at the cremation grounds, was coming home in a drunken stupor, having completed his day's work of burning dead bodies. He asked, "Who is this that calls out, 'Will anyone buy me?' You can be a good servant for me to help me burn dead bodies. I'll buy you." Harishchandra said, No, I'm sorry. I can't work for a Chandala. I'm a Kshatriya king, the emperor of Ayodhya, and I'm not permitted to become the slave of an outcast to burn dead bodies in the cremation grounds. And the Chandala said, "So, then you told a lie? When you advertised yourself for sale, you didn't say anything about only a special caste being able to purchase you, nor that you would only do some special kind of work. You said very loudly and in public, 'Does anyone want to buy me? Does anyone want to buy this worker?' And now you are lying by adding extra conditions. Isn't that true? Are you going to tell a lie, Harishchandra?" "No, I am not going to tell a lie." "Then I can buy you?" asked the Chandala. "Yes, you can buy me." "Well, according to our customs, a king of this height and weight and good physical condition is worth 20 baskets of gold. Here, take your price." Harishchandra took the price. Vishvamitra immediately took the money and said, "O king, your debt has been paid." Instantly the clouds broke apart and the gods showered flowers upon the earth. Harishchandra was showered with flowers and he was freed from the debt. The Chandala said, "Okay, slave, carry my bottle of wine. You will come to work with me in the cremation grounds. Your job will be to burn the dead bodies and collect the fees and ensure that I get paid my money." And he put Harishchandra in charge of the cremation grounds. Harishchandra would take the dead bodies that came in and put them on the funeral pyre. He would stack up the wood and light the fire, and pretty soon he began to act as his fellow workers would behave. He would take the cloth from the dead bodies and wrap it as a turban around his own head. He would take the garlands from the bodies and wear them himself. In all ways, he began to act just like a Chandala at the cremation grounds, and he forgot all about the dream of his ever having been the king of Ayodhya. Meanwhile, his dharmic wife Shaibya was always badgered by the Brahmin's wife. The Brahmin's wife was never satisfied with any work that she performed. "You didn't wash this clean. You didn't cut this vegetable properly. You didn't cook nicely. You didn't iron my cloth properly. You didn't sweep here. You didn't do this. Your kid is eating too much. You're making a mess. You never work. You always sitting around, you lazy good-for-nothing. Why did my husband spend so much money to bring me home a servant like you?" She continually rebuked her in 1,000 ways. Every night, Shaibya, the noble queen, would finish her duties and would rub the feet of the Brahmin's wife, and then she would rub the feet of the Brahmin. She was always the last to go to sleep and the first to rise from the bed. She never had enough to provide for her child, and in this way she forgot all about her life as the Queen of Ayodhya. Let's stop here. This is a remarkable story, and it goes on for quite some time. Let's see if there are any questions so far. Please.
Swamiji, in the Puranas and in this story, some of the qualities that are emphasized are truthfulness and compassion.
Yes.
Is it good to have goals to have these qualities? And how do we go about what's the best way to attain some of these qualities?
Oh, first we define those qualities as desirable, as attributes that we wish to exhibit in our everyday behavior. And then we go about the sankalpa, taking the sankalpa like Satyanarayan Brat. It's the vow to speak and act in truth. And we make the sankalpa with a puja and an offering to God and prayer to please bless us so that we're empowered to maintain this truth. We're empowered to protect our sankalpa. And thereafter, every time we find the circumstances of life prevailing upon us where it is most expedient to color the truth, we say Satyanarayan Bhagavan Ki Jai and figure out whether the immediate gratification that we get from cheating or bending the rule is going to be greater gain to us, or the actual following of the truth, protecting our sankalpa, would be better, more beneficial to us. We have to ask ourselves this question. I'm going to get a momentary gain, and it may be a lot, or maybe a little bit, or maybe status in the eyes of somebody else if I tell something that's not true. Can I stick to my dharma and fulfill my sankalpa and actually speak the truth? Now often, all too often, the tongue wants to start speaking before we get the chance to even ask the question. So now what we want to do is put that interlude of discrimination between the stimulus and the response, and actually think about our response so that we have the opportunity to discriminate what is the appropriate action. Is it appropriate for me to lie and get a little bit of a benefit? Or is it appropriate for me to tell the truth, maybe give up some material advantage, but protect my dharma? This will be the sadhana. This is the discipline.
Swamiji, how is it that one person adhering to truth on earth makes it the most powerful?
Vashishta said, if even one person would give up everything for truth, then would you agree that truth is the most powerful force on earth? Now, we're not saying that that truth is powerful because it moves everyone, but is there any other quality or characteristics for which someone can give up everything? And the answer is probably not. Now, here also in truth, we have included all of the other intangibles are present in truth. Because in truth comes true love. It becomes a love of God with such force that I would give up everything else in the world to be true to my truth. So in worshiping truth, we're worshiping love. Because the love is the inspiration that carries us towards the truth, to honoring the truth. And that inspires us and it gives us the discrimination, the criteria by which to discriminate. So in truth there is included love, and in truth there is included justice, and in truth there is included equality, and in truth there is included divinity. So this truth is satya. It's not the little truth, my truth is better than your truth. It's not in relationship, it's absolute truth. So here the issue is if even one individual could surrender everything in honor of this truth, then would you agree that truth is the strongest? Because wind blows of its own accord. So no one gives up in honor of wind. They give up because of the force of wind. The same is true of fire. The same is true of death. But truth, people surrender all that they have in honor of truth. Not because of the force of truth. Yeah.
Swamiji, a question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nandama.
Swamiji, Harishchandra's story is very moving. But does not his stubbornness to keep the truth impact those around him, like his wife and child? Is it justified to uphold our truth when it impacts those around us? Thank you.
Well, here he was saying that the most important thing is that I've got a sankalpa not to tell a lie. And yes, it impacted other people, but he wasn't going to give up his dharma. His ideal of perfection was Satyanarayan Bhagavan Ki Jai. And he wouldn't give up that adherence to truth, that ideal of perfection, in order to have some momentary comfort. Now it was Saibya, it was his wife that said, look, I know that we will be united again. I know you stick to your truth, and I am something that can bring you freedom. And as a partner to you, I want to give myself up. I'm sacrificing myself for my truth. You sell me so that I can be the ideal wife and maintain my dharma and provide you with the means of being free from the debt to the rishi. So it was her idea, it wasn't his.
Actually, Parvati from Sacramento has a question.
Yes, surely.
To this, Swamiji. By being truthful to Vishvamitra, did he not break the vow to take care of his own wife and therefore become untruthful to her? Thank you.
No, Parvati, he did not, because she said, please, you sell me. It was her idea. He didn't come to her and say, okay, you're the last chattel that I own, and I'm selling you because you're my last possession. She came to him and said, my king, this is a way that I can serve you. And you've been so gracious to me all these years. Now let me reciprocate by giving myself. So, no, he did not break his vow.
And a question from Michael from Colorado.
Namaste, Michael. Namaste, Karen Ma.
After thinking about our conversations from last week, it seems a plausible conclusion that pure consciousness cannot manifest in an environment where there is dissatisfaction, that it has not manifested. In other words, a feeling of lack only produces more of what we are feeling we are lacking. Can you please comment on this idea?
You're absolutely right, Michael. The idea is that Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Pushti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. We bow to you, to the goddess who resides all throughout satisfaction. Because in that pushti, in that satisfaction, in that sense of completion, now we come to a stillness. Now, neither too much nor too little. We just have santosh. That's called must. You move into the must above. Because it's just that there's no striving to become. You are fully absorbed in being. And there is no necessity to become something other than you are. So that is a state of consciousness, a state of awareness, which we want to put our environment in that equilibrium, in that balance, in that peacefulness, in Ayodhya, in the land where there is no conflict, in your ashram, in your temple, in your house, whatever you like to call it. It'll be a place of perfect peace and equilibrium, samyavasta, where you can be santosh.
Swamiji, a question from Kumari from Valley Road.
Namaste, Kumari Ma.
Are there any rishis known to be meditating in the Kali Yuga of the stature of Vashishta and Vishvamitra?
Shrima.
And Swamiji?
Yes, there are. But you won't hear of them. But you can find them. But you won't hear of them. Because they're way off the beaten path. And they are not advertising for people to come see them. But there are. They do exist. And certainly you can find one in the Devi Mandir. Shrima.
Swamiji, a question from Vishveshwar from Nagpur.
Namaste Vishveshwar. Namaste Bharati.
Namaste Swamiji. Please, can you address the fact that most of us have very little time to do sadhana daily? Can we still reach the goal?
Everything you do is part of the sadhana, Vish. Vishveshwar, every action you commit, you can either do with truth for the higher purpose, or you can do from expediency for a selfish gain. And that's the sadhana, and that's the criteria. So sadhana doesn't mean just sitting, or just chanting, or just meditating, or any of the other practices we do. Sadhana means living a spiritual life, not doing spiritual practices. The spiritual practices are valuable only insofar as they inspire us and remind us to lead a spiritual life. But the objective is to be a spiritual being leading a spiritual life, which means giving more than you take and being generous and kind and equilibrium and balance in every circumstance. Now, we have different criteria. It isn't how much you sit, how much you rub your beads. It's not how much you chant and how much you put flowers at the feet of at your altar. The criteria is how much do you love? And how do you share that love and make that love manifest? And that's really the spirituality.
Swamiji, it's in these stories we see the different rishis like Vishvamitra doing so much tapasya, and still we see so much ahankar.
Yes, ahankar is very, very, very difficult to be free from. In fact, we'll get to the end of the story and we'll see what happens to Vishvamitra's ahankar. But in a surprising way, the reality is we're not trying to get rid of the ego. We can't get rid of the ego. Mother is the only one who can take the ego. And our objective is to pray to Mother to please, if you're going to take ego, start here. Take this one first. Here, cut along the dotted line. If you're going to swing your sword, then please cut here. Take mine first, Mom, please. Or expand the ego. Make it bigger and bigger and bigger until I can say, Shivo Aham. Aham Ramashmi. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.